Alright, so let's get this primed and ready to go. I've got my Too Faced Shadow Insurance all over my lid. And I'm sorry, my camera's mounted on my desk and my desk is quite shaky. It's just an IKEA desk that I have. And so when I open and close the drawers, not only is it kind of noisy, I imagine, but it shakes the camera, so sorry about that. Usually before I start a video, I have everything already up on the counter so that I don't have to open and close it. But today, since I clearly didn't think this all the way through today, I didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing as far as the look that I'm going for today. I may have to open and close it a couple times, and sorry if that shakes you all around a little bit. Makes you feel like you're on the set of a Star Trek movie. Okay. Alright, so I've got that primed. And as I said, there is no neutral in the palette, and I like to start with kind of a neutral crease color. You know what, I'm gonna try one of them in the palette actually. It's a little grayer than I would normally choose, but why not? Let's try an adventure here. So, the way I'm going to refer to these for you is I'm gonna do numbers from the bottom up, and I'm gonna do letters from left to right. So for instance, this would be color 1A at the bottom corner in the warm palette. And I have the warm palette, the cool palette, and the pastel palette. I think I'm only gonna use the warm and the cool today. Okay, so we're gonna come all the way down here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So we're all the way up to L, okay? And I am going to take K2. So it's in the second to last row, and it's the second one up here. And it's kind of a taupey, a taupey neutral color. And I'm gonna take my Real Techniques base shadow brush, and I'm gonna pick some of that up, and I'm gonna put it all over my lid. So my base colors, I tend to prefer mattes. Matte colors, which is part of why I'm not a big fan of this one. It's a pretty neutral color, but it's shimmery. I don't want shimmer necessarily for my base colors. I'm going to put that all over my lid and just into my crease to get us started. Okay, so from here on out, you will continue to see up in the corner of the screen, you'll see the row and column of the color that I'm choosing. So let's see, I am going to start with, ooh, this is exciting, this is crazy yellow right here. So this would be B6, that one's an easy one since it's so close to the edge. So I'm going to grab my NYX Jumbo eye pencil, and I'm going to put that over the area where I'm going to put the yellow. So something a little sticky and bright to underpin that yellow. So it'll come out a little more opaque and a little brighter than it is on its own. I love that I just gushed and gushed about how pigmented they are and then go and grab a new color that doesn't have much pigment. Murphy's Law at work. Alright, I'm going to grab a flat shader brush now instead of a soft blender brush, which is kind of what I was using there. And I'm going to pick up that same yellow B6, and now I'm going to pack that on. That's a little better. There. Pack that onto the milk. This is like bumblebee yellow once I get it on. Oh my gosh. You see that? How very primary yellow. It's fun. And this one is fairly matte, I would say. And I'm finding this to be very buildable right now, and even though this didn't come out on its own very bright, I'm sure able to build it. You can see there. No doubt that is some yellow. Alright. So switching over to my Cool Colors palette here, I'm gonna pick up this guy right here. I'm getting some fallout here. I can always go back and clean that up later. These are all colors I have not used before because it's gonna take me pretty much a bazillion years to get to all the colors. I may not even get to all the colors before I'm dead. It's morbid. I just may not, you know, not all the colors are gonna be my cup of tea, and I don't enjoy doing makeup on other people as much as I enjoy doing it on myself, so it's not like it's gonna get a ton of use on other people's faces. I'm going to take my Real Techniques Precision, is that my Precision? No, accent brush. This guy right here. And I am going to take, I'm gonna try this blue that's right next to it. It may not be quite dark enough, but let's give it a try. Put that in the outer corner. Quite as dark as I'd like it to be, but it's a nice gradient. So I'll flick some of that in on both sides. And then I'm going to take this matte blue right here. That same accent brush, and I'm gonna dab it into the crease here and make that little V at the outer corner of my eye. I love this little brush. So they call it the accent brush, and I have fairly small mobile lid, and so if I use too large of a brush, especially when I'm applying the darker colors, it tends to just go all over and darken everything up. This guy is just great for picking up a little bit of product and putting it very precisely where I would like it, and just get a lot more control that way. And I'm going to come back to my base shadow brush, which I love to use as a blender. I could also use my MAC 224, that's another one of my favorite little blender brushes. And I'm going to come into the crease and just start sweeping back and forth, windshield wiper motions, little circle motions. So I'd like to go a little bit deeper with the color in my crease. So there's actually another even darker blue matte color next to the one that I used, and I'm going to put a little of that right in the very, very corner here, just to add a little additional depth. Yeah, that's more the effect that I want. I'm going to bring that a little bit more along my lash line here. And then bring this guy back in and just blend it. Little brush strokes, little circles. Alright, now using a clean brush, I just have a soft shadow brush right here. I want to do a little bit more accenting in the center here. I feel like I lost a little bit of that color that I initially had. So I'm going to bring a little bit more of it back on there, just to bring that color back. And highlight the center of the lid a little better. And then I'm just going to flick ever so gently between that and the yellow, just to soften that transition a little. I'm a big blender. Not everybody loves the blending step. It's one of my favorite things about doing makeup and doing editorial color like this, is the ways in which the colors affect each other, the way they run into each other, the way they offset each other. So I want to soften and blend this top edge a little bit more. So I'm going back to my warm palette, and right up here on A7 is a light, it's not quite flesh tone, it's lighter than that. And I'm gonna brush that along the upper edge of the blue here. Just a little here, soften that edge just a little here, and I am going to take, this is the Real Techniques Pixel Point eyeliner brush. I don't use it for eyeliner, I love it to get little accent areas. So I am going to take that same really light white color, and I'm gonna brush it on the inner corner of my eye. And then I'm going to take the yellow we used earlier, and I'm going to brush that on the inner third of my lower lash line. Right in here. And then I'm going to go back to my original blue and take that same little precision brush. I'm going to brush that along the 2/3 of my eye and kind of meeting the blue at the outer corner there. Let's do brows, and we'll keep with the Real Techniques theme. I've got my Real Techniques brow brush, and I've got my MAC texture. I'm working that through my brows. Okay. I'm gonna take my Sephora retractable waterproof eyeliner, and I'm gonna tightline my upper lash line. And I'm gonna go on my waterline. And then I'm going to curl and then I'm going to use my Rimmel Scandaleyes Lycra Flex. This is one of my super duper favorite mascaras right now. This is an extreme black. So I have a tip for you on these kinds of mascaras. So anytime you have a mascara that has fibers in it, so a lot of times the mascaras that have a lengthening or thickening pre-step and then you have a color overlay second step, those are usually applying very, very fine little fibers to your lashes to allow them to extend in the way that they do. And a lot of people feel that they get clumpiness out of those mascaras. Well, you have to treat those ones a little bit differently than you might. Not everybody gets a good wiggle in their mascara application, and maybe not all mascaras you use require it. But basically, if you start at the base and wiggle as you move up, it's helping to align the fibers. So what appears to be clumps a lot of times in these situations is the fibers not aligning. So if you start at the base and wiggle as you move up, you're helping to align the fibers, and you will find that you don't get as much clumpiness. I'm sure that's not true of every single one. Some of them probably are legitimately clumpy for other reasons, but give it a try and see if it helps. So far, so good. So when I got my 252 Ultimate palette, I also ordered the 6 Contour Blush palette. And so that comes with 4 different contouring and highlighting shades and 2 different blush shades. And the cool thing about this is, you know, you can kind of mix and match between the cooler and warmer shades and get a shade that's really great for you. So I find this is a little warmer than I want at times, and this is a little cooler than I want, and so blending the two a little bit, picking up a little bit of each, is a great way to get a custom color. I'm gonna line with my Sephora Nano Slim Lip Pencil, and this is in Radiantly Rosy, and the lip color I'm going to use is my NYX round case. Do I use anything else in these videos these days? In Doll. So there's the finished look. All thanks to the Coastal Scents 252 eyeshadow palette. I'm really impressed with it. I'm recommending it to all my friends who want to get more adventurous with color without breaking the bank. Again, if you find colors that you really love and want to have full pans of them, then you can always dupe it elsewhere or possibly purchase it through Coastal Scents themselves if you're really loving that particular formulation. But I'm really impressed with the color payoff. I mean, it's so vivid, so bright, and I have done an editorial look like this and worn it for many hours, and it has stayed beautifully. I'm really impressed with the staying power. So check it out. It's totally cheap. There's no reason not to get it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that it was inspiring. I hope that it was interesting. I hope it was something. I always want to know what it was for you in the comments down below, and hopefully you'll stop by and say hello at BeautyAlong at www.beautyalong.com. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you again soon.